Hi, Steve Sterling here from the End Time Prophecy eCourse YouTube channel and the End Time Prophecy eCourse Facebook page. Welcome. When I undertook to investigate some of the things that I used to believe, one of the things that stand out as an indication that something is not so right with some of the things that we traditionally believe as Adventists is the idea that the dragon giving power to the beast is an indication of pagan Rome giving power to papal Rome. Now, how do we arrive at this conclusion? It is based on our study of Revelation 12. Revelation 12 speaks of a battle between the dragon and the woman. The Bible says that the dragon stood before the woman, waiting to devour her child as soon as it was born. And because that incident took place under pagan Roman rule, we conclude that the dragon is a symbol, a secondary symbol of pagan Rome. But the Bible says that that dragon is that old serpent called the devil and Satan. Why do you think we come to the conclusion that the dragon is a secondary symbol of pagan Rome? Because of the same rule that I keep speaking to you about, which says a beast in prophecy represents a kingdom or nation. Now, it was thought that the dragon standing before the woman waiting to devour her child as soon as it was born indicates a point in history when an attempt was made to kill baby Jesus. And we can recall Herod's intention when he told the wise men to go and find out the whereabouts of the baby and bring him word so that he can come and worship him. But that was just to disguise his evil intention towards baby Jesus. He wanted to know where he is so that he can go and kill him. And the conclusion is that that took place under pagan Rome, so the dragon is a secondary symbol of pagan Rome. And on that basis, when the Bible in Revelation 13 says, the dragon give the beast his power and his seat and great authority, because it is popularly believed that the beast is a symbol of papal Rome, we take it that the dragon giving power to the beast is an indication that pagan Rome is now ceding power to papal Rome. I have a problem with that. Now, here's the problem. If the argument can be made that the dragon is a secondary symbol of pagan Rome by virtue of the fact that he stood before the woman waiting to devour her child as soon as it was born, then what is the dragon a secondary symbol of? For attempting to persecute the woman for 1,260 prophetic days. Now that is what we are told in Revelation 12 and verse 6. We are told that the dragon persecuted the woman for 1,260 prophetic days. Now, if we are going to use the argument that the dragon is a symbol of pagan Rome, a secondary symbol of pagan Rome, for standing before the woman waiting to devour her child as soon as it was born, then we also have to admit that for persecuting the woman for 1260 days, the dragon is also a secondary symbol of papal Rome. And if we are to accept that, which we rightly should, the conclusion is inevitable. Then it makes nonsense of the argument, or of the conclusion, that the dragon giving power to the beast is an indication that pagan Rome gives power to papal Rome. So, who is the dragon? If we are going to say the dragon is a symbol of pagan Rome, then by the same reasoning, we must also admit that the dragon is a symbol of papal Rome, because the dragon persecuted the woman. The same dragon who stood before the woman waiting to devour her child as soon as it was born is the same dragon that persecuted the woman for 1260 days. So, it does make sense. We pick one event and say, okay, by this event, it makes the dragon pagan Rome. So therefore, the dragon giving power to the beast is an indication of pagan Rome giving power to papal Rome. That makes no sense, because if the dragon by the same method of reasoning leads us to the conclusion that the dragon is also a secondary symbol of papal Rome, then we have to also conclude that the dragon giving power to the beast is papal Rome giving power to papal Rome. So you see where I'm coming from? You see how unreasonable the argument is. And I'm not trying to denigrate anybody's belief. I'm just trying to expose the obvious flaws that are in the argument, which is not difficult to see. Now, here's the truth. The Bible gives us one interpretation for the dragon, and what that interpretation is. The Bible said the dragon is that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So, if that's the only interpretation that the Bible gives, then we have no authority to put another interpretation upon that other than what the Bible gives us. Remember, an interpretation is not an interpretation unless the Bible gives that interpretation to us. And the interpretation that the Bible gives to us is the literal equivalent of the symbol. So any attempt to give another interpretation or an alternative interpretation or a secondary interpretation is bordering on private interpretation. So here's the thing. The dragon was working through both pagan and papal Rome. That's a fact. That's history, right? Satan, who is that old serpent, was working through pagan Rome to persecute the people of God. He worked through pagan Rome to crucify Christ. He was the one working through Herod in his attempt to destroy Christ from when he was a baby. And the same dragon shift focus or shift strategy and start to work through papal Rome, the religious entity that was reigning during the Dark Ages. Now, in Revelation 13, what we are seeing is a different scenario. Because if we are to accept Revelation 13 as a continuation of the line of prophecy that began in 12, then we cannot say that what is happening in Revelation 13 is a repetition. For us to say that the dragon giving power to the beast is an indication that pagan Rome gives power to papal Rome, we are suggesting that it is not really a continuation of a line of prophecy. It is just a repetition of a line of prophecy, which is not true. So, this same dragon who was pictured in Revelation 12 as attempting to destroy Christ, persecuted people for 1260 days, will be the same dragon who will work through the beast of Revelation 13 to persecute the remnant. Remember what Revelation 12 says. Revelation 12 and verse 17 says, "The dragon was wroth with the woman, and so he went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keeps the commandments of God and of the testimony of Jesus." So Revelation 13, in its segue, is now telling us how this war will be fought. How the dragon will fight against the remnant of the woman's seed that keeps the commandments of God and of the testimony of Jesus. And by giving power to this beast, the dragon is now entering in the second phase of his warfare with the people of God. Or you could say the third phase, because the first phase started with pagan Rome, the second phase started under the medieval papacy, and the third phase will commence with this new beast of Revelation 13. And that is how the dragon will fight against the people of God in the last days, called the remnant of her seed. And we need to think of the word remnant. What remnant means? Remnant means the final portion. So whatever this war is, it is going to be the final war against the final portion of God's people who keeps the commandments of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ. It is not indicating a war with a set of people who existed way back in history. No, it is going to be a war between the final set of people who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. And I'm going to stop here because I want to do another video as a follow-up on this, because there are other misconceptions that needs to be examined. I'm going to further demonstrate that there are some things that we are teaching that needs to be reviewed with an intention to throw out a few of the things that we formerly believed. And I know that a lot of people don't want to hear that because there are some things that they have been believing for years. But I think the reason why we are in this state now is because most of us are not studying for ourselves. So I'm going to sign out here, but I want you to check out the End Time Prophecy e-course, which is at www.prophecyecourse.com. It's a very good prophecy course that gives you all the details of the end time prophecies of Daniel and Revelation. and you can download the free book that is available. This is Steve Sterling signing out.